Hello, I am Joelle and I'm the Viberarian. As I always say, I'm here to elevate, enlighten, and empower. That is my journey, and I share it with you who are also out there connecting with me, and hope that it will elevate, enlighten, and empower you to share this with you. So I'm here as a follow-up to my evening last night. I was at Holistica in Tulum, and I was able to see my friend, my brother Christopher Salvatierra. He did a beautiful ancestral sound journey. Now, I've talked about Christopher over the years because he has been a very important part of my journey of awakening. We first met in 2016, him and his wife, and he actually created for me my beautiful logos for both the Viberarian and the Viberary. So he's a talented graphic artist on the one hand, but on another hand, he started a journey into becoming a sound and vibrational shaman and medicine man. So Christopher, I'm so delighted. I'm gonna just ask a few questions today to share with you about his work. And so Christopher, I'm so glad to be able to sit with you. I have the deepest respect for you, and to be part of your life through the connections of my time here in Mexico has been absolutely beautiful. So wonderful.
Thanks, Joelle. Thanks for the invitation. I'm very glad to be here and have the opportunity to share. So thank you.
Absolutely. So when did you first encounter musical instruments? Did you play instruments as a child?
Well, a little bit. As I was like a teenager, I was attracted to music, more like pop or different kind of commercial music. But I started like playing the keyboard, the guitar, just but most from the space of having fun or just connecting. But then after that, I started going to meditation. Started in the world of meditation. So I discovered this different kind of music, like ambient music, new age. And I felt that this music made me feel in different way, different state of mind. And I started like playing a little bit different music. I work with synthesizers, electronic music. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to me that different sounds that was not conventional, like the drum, guitar, but more like space or strange sounds. But I felt there was a different effect in my mind, in my body. So I started like playing with or discovering the spiritual aspect of music, or But well, then after that I met Louis. Louis is like my master or my mentor, and he taught me most of the things that now I practice, playing the instruments and using especially my voice. First I discovered how to use my voice to bring harmonization or getting in a meditative state through sound. So that's what for me was wow. I really wanted to learn more from that, and how to use instruments like the flutes or like the drum. They're simple instruments but very powerful. So it was already 10 years ago since that, and I've been learning more and giving this session and teaching people so they can discover this power that is inside everybody, the use of music and sound to harmonize and to feel good and to celebrate life.
Oh yes. Last night at his session at Holistica, he started out by having us in a unified energy, but in our own place in terms of voice, to begin toning. And it surprised me because as I began to, sing or emit the tones or vowels that he was doing, I found my throat was raspy, and I didn't realize that I had not really been forcefully singing or doing anything. I might have been humming or singing in the shower or something, but to really project and feel the flow of the breath, it did connect in a very different way at the beginning of your session. So one thing about what you focus on in terms of your connection is through many indigenous instruments and sound. So your master teacher was teaching you then all of these ways of different cultures making music?
Yes. Well, in my experience, I was really surprised when I first heard the didgeridoo or Mayan trumpet. There is a version here in Mexico. It's very similar to the didgeridoo. When I first heard that sound, I was, wow, that was what the sound I was looking with the machines. You know, these frequencies, and I heard they were organic and produced by the body and by the instrument. So I like had this inside that this kind of music that we now call like trance or electronic or rave music is been from the beginning of time, but in our organic way. And this music is meant to take you in a different state of mind. Since that experience, I started like studying more what native tribes, what were the instruments, how did they sound. I discovered different instruments that were not really like common or known, but these are powerful instruments that when you hear them, you go in these states of trance, or your mind like slows down and you go in the different states. So these instruments are played for centuries for meditation, for spiritual connection, for communication with the animals, with the nature. So well, that's a beautiful world I discovered, and there are different cultures, and some of these cultures are very far away from each other that have developed instruments very similar. So it's very, very interesting with sound and music.
It's very interesting because the original instruments of the indigenous people really played the music that you hear in nature. So like in your sound journey last night, you heard the wind rustling in the trees, and you heard like the calls of birds or the falling of rain. It was very natural, and that part of the connection of where it does sound like real things rather than the programming version of things, it does vibrate a different part of your body. We've all stood next to a speaker at a concert and been like, boom, 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 right? With like bombarded with it. But to have like a didgeridoo or a Mayan trumpet playing at your head or over your chest, it does a different kind of pattern, I think, cellularly, because it is naturally induced. And the amount of work that it takes to really hold the tone in an instrument, we're talking about, it's like probably 6 feet long, the Mayan trumpet, and you're blowing like a steady stream of air to keep the sound. That's like an amazing practice that you've had to be able to even get to playing all of these instruments. Like, so do you play like daily for like your own meditation and your own sound journeys, or do you just practice, or like what is your daily life like with having these instruments around?
Well, yes, I discovered that using sound in this way is a form of active meditation. Using sound or really using the voice, simple, like just feeling this vibration, you are changing your state, your inner state. So I discovered that sound and music is really a spiritual practice. We know music as a business or industrial or entertainment, but original music is a spiritual practice. So yes, it's like a yoga, a form of connection. So this is a practice I do like every day. I take time to connect, and the thing that really I really felt very good is that you don't have to like really be a musician or have technical skills. Just to take the time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just breathe, do your sound, just maybe play a drum if you have, or just connect with yourself through sounds, and it's very effective. It's for me. I was, as I said before, I was like trying to meditate, but in silence, you know, my mind, uncomfortable. But with sound, it was so much easier. Just playing a bowl or doing this vocal toning, I was able to get in this state of silence, of being there, of presence.
I was thinking about the shamanic drumming, like just the simple act of keeping like a beat. It really, it feels like it releases a chemical at a certain point where like endorphins or something, where you do just kind of go out into space if you've been able to maintain, you know. And that's the thing that can be discouraging, is when you go to start working through toning, drumming, or doing stuff, it might only be for 5 minutes because A, you don't have the stamina, the consistency, but the repetitive of doing a little bit every day and beginning to bring it, then you will develop the stamina to be able to go and to do an hour of just your body being in the memory of the muscle action, but your mind and spirit being connected outside of the focus part. That's been really hard for me as a classically trained musician. It was all about specific tones, and if you played something that was disharmonious, if it was not on purpose, you know, it was a mistake, it was a problem. And so for me, having to undo the structure to just be okay with the sound that's coming out, instead of saying, oh, you're flat, oh, you're sharp, you know. So releasing myself has been a big part of my reconnecting with music. And that's why I love like what you're doing, because it's pure and natural. And you're playing instruments in your session last night. I think you counted like 6 different countries or cultures. So can you share a little bit about your instruments collection?
Oh yes. Well, yes, I use first drums. Drums are from different native cultures around the world: Africa, Asia, America. They have developed drums, so it's like a basic instrument. I use those. I use the native flutes, for example. This is a kind of Native American style flute. It's kind of easy to play, but the material is in this case is made of bamboo. This material, the sound of the air going through the instrument are like resonating with your inner elements, the air inside you. So I play like this. I also play, as I said, this Mayan trumpet or didgeridoo bass frequencies. As you said, you feel in your body. So this is like a sonic massage you have, and it's very soothing, having these sound waves like moving all in your body. So it feels so good. And well, I have different instruments. For example, I have this little one. It's called mouth harp. It's from Asia. So it has a interesting sound. So it has that you can use in this way, loop and repetition. It's a language that we can find in electronic music, in dance music. It's repeating, and then after a few cycles there is something different. But when you get in that state, you're only not thinking, you're just flowing with the sound. So that principle applies to these kind of instruments, like you are repeating, and then in a few moments you are like in a different state of mind. You're just feeling, not really thinking, just becoming you one with the vibration.
Yes, I love that. I would love to have you just do like 30, 45 seconds with that so people could see. But I'm just going to pause the video here so we can start a new section. All right, so Christopher, if you would just bring some rhythm or whatever you're feeling with your mouth harp, I would just be honored. Oh, wow. Oh, you can hear the trance in that, definitely, as it hits that consistent tone.
Yes.
I've definitely heard DJ music.
Yes, yeah, for example. Yes, very nice.
Wow. I think I played one of those as a child and not successfully at all. I couldn't get the embouchure right.
One interesting thing about this sound is that it's only one note. There's no melodies. It's only one note. But the frequencies of the different harmonics are filtered. And that works. When your mind, when you perceive the sounds, it has a very interesting effect.
Yes.
Your mind is not like following the notes; it's just like
in the wave. Yes.
In the wave. That's one of the things I love to use the pure sound waves first. Connect with the sound in the basic form, like for example, just a plain wave or simple wave, but it has so many. This you can connect with one note in this deep way. Also with didgeridoo or Mayan trumpet, it's only one note. But the way you can work with rhythms and it is has
and
this.
then you add your voice to that, which is it's like the ultimate in multitasking, right? To have like. You're playing the instrument and then you're able to complement the sound with your voice. You were making so many layers of sound because I think, of course my eyes were closed, but I think that you were also like hitting percussion things while you were singing and playing at the same time. At one point I was like, you have the 8 arms, or something, because you were using your voice as an instrument that you couldn't tell it was your voice. So even just now as you were imitating the Mayan trumpet, you've done a lot of work developing your own instrument in many, many ways. So I'm curious about, I want to come back to this flute because I saw you take it apart and I was like, oh, so this piece here actually is separate. Mm-hmm. And that creates then, where's your blowing opening? It's just...
Yes, well this part is very common in Native American flute. It's called totem, and it's part of the mechanism.
It looks like a bird.
Yeah, and it's part of the mechanism that make that when you blow into this hole, the air goes in this part, so they have the...
Now, if you move that, does it change?
It will affect the sound, and you have to be in a specific place, so it sounds good. If it's moved, it won't sound at all.
Okay, and is this some kind of horn? Or?
Yes, this is a horn. This was a gift from a friend, also almost 11 years ago, back in Venezuela. This flute was made in Ecuador from an Ecuadorian artisan. So it was really my first flute. So I really loved it.
Right. Well, if you would bless us with a little music. I'm in awe because I remember being in high school band and playing flute and trying to do the flutter tongue. It never worked for me. I was done after that. But this is beautiful. So one thing about the different cultures is the musical scale is very different when you go from like what we know is do a di or do re mi fa sol la ti, right? It's a different major kind of scale, but when you get into some of your other instruments like that, it is a minor tone. This one, however, would still be on what I understand as the same musical scale. So like your Indian flute, was that like on an Aeolian or a different tones? Yes.
Yeah, it's very, well, world music is very, it varies, or it has difference. Yes, these flutes have like this minor pentatonic, and you can find it also in like Chinese flutes. There are some flutes that are pentatonic. But yeah, India is a very, deep world of differences in rhythm, melodies, scales. So it's very, very deep. They are different. And in India, the Indian tradition, in the Vedas, they have the ragas. And these ragas are meant to play in a different parts of the day. Some are for the morning, some are for the evening, the night, and each one has a specific different scale to connect with the mood of that part of the day, and the prayers and the they doing that part of the day is different. So it's very, it's one of these cultures that have this spiritual, musical part that has continued the tradition until today, since thousands of years. So it's very interesting in India in particular.
Well, and the studying that you get to do as part of your, you pick up an instrument, and some people that would be the end of it, right? They would see, but to be able to like connect in an honoring way with the thousands of year-old practices of how this is crafted. This is like your flute was not a factory-made flute, right? And there's nothing wrong with, machine-made instruments, of course, but if you're going to pick up something that is like a drum, then you want to make sure that you understand why drums are made and how they're made. I think it's very important to be honoring of these gifts from the indigenous all over the world music, right? And it's interesting because in your session, all of those different, you had Tibet, Peru, Native American, Mayan, any other cultures that I missed that you could
a little bit of Africa with the kalimba.
Yes, the kalimba, yes. So it all worked together though. Even though the notes were different, like when you would play and then chime the Tibetan gong, it was not perfectly tuned to be like you would see a symphony all tuning to A440, and yet it's still, you blended it together to be something that was like really powerful. I think everybody zoned out by the end of the session because you really do go out into nature in a way, and I think that people didn't want to come back. They didn't want to ground back into the present day, so it took everybody a while to kind of close up and everything. But so one other thing that you are deeply into is like overtone singing, right? And so I want to get into that in our next little clip here. So overtone singing, what is that?
Well, basically, is when you use your voice and you can do two or more sounds at the same time. It's a ability that the body we can do, and it's part of that you can. It's a technique that you can use for developing your voice. Also, it's a very nice way for this meditation, because when you go in that state and you try to work with these sounds, you get this nice effect of relaxation. It's a very healing form of singing. It's very ancient. For example, it's called throat singing, harmonic singing, and you will find most of these styles in Mongolia or Asia. It's a traditional style, but I think it's not limited to that tradition. One of the things I want to comment or to say is about the universal aspect of music. That's why I really loved about the approaching my teacher had when he taught me. It's something universal, it's not from a specific culture. Especially when you start like practicing and integrating this, is something that is not from the Mayans or the Chinese or whatever. It's something that natural for the human being to meditate through sounds, and each region have developed their own language, but there is one common language that we can all connect. So that's the thing I really loved about this sound, is that it's something universal. There's not something that have to play in the specific way that the Indian plays, or the not a specific school. That of course you can go that and go deep, but the main thing is that you can connect with yourself with the sound, and it's something universal. It's something that is for everyone. Everyone can understand the language of music, because it's from heart to heart. It's does not go for the rational mind. Of course, it can work in that way, but mainly it's from heart to heart. Yeah. You receive that sound.
The babies receive right in the womb when you play music, and the baby begins to move from the vibrations that it feels. No language at all, pre-language. So if you could play music for your baby, play real music from your voice and your instruments, not radio music. Don't put that on your belly, okay? Do singing and humming and toning with your child and your loved ones, of course. People who are injured or sick, it's also music therapy, sound therapy. Definitely needs no translation whatsoever. So, okay, so I've heard that the monks used to actually be able to levitate rocks and things to build structures by a group of them toning together or blowing large instruments. Like you'll see sketches from thousands of years ago of this rock and all this circle of men around it with the instruments, and then the rock is off the ground. Have you heard of that phenomenon?
Yes. Well, I think we are just starting to remember the effects of the sounds, especially the science are just like starting to recognize the power that have sounds for all the physical, the connection with sound with the physical matter. So it's a very deep study that you can do that. But yes, it's a magical force. Sound is a magical force. It's a way of expressing, and throat singing is a way to connect, meditate, and the body has the capability to make all these sounds. So the thing is that we don't know. We are like, well, yes, we can do many sounds, and we can use this body of this machine as a medicine for ourselves, also vibrating medicine for ourselves, and that's the throat singing.
I've seen in popular music in the States, it's always considered like a rare phenomenon to hear. Like I know Layla Hathaway, who I love. She was here at the Viberarian Jazz Fest in 2018, and I got to see her, and she, from her very high soprano range, she was throat singing, and it just blew people away, because it's like not something you would see a typical American concert performer doing on stage. Of course, when you get into other cultures, it's normal, because it's not performance, it's meditation. So the idea that it's rare and that only a select few can use their vocal cords like that, what you've said is no. Play with your sound, play with your voice, and see how much you can expand into.
Yes, that's what I want to share that, because, of course, to get that, to make all these sounds, it requires practice. But from the beginning, you can get the benefit just to doing this humming or just vocal toning. You can get these benefits in your body. So if you like it, you're going to continue more, and naturally you will develop skills, and you will make your sound better. But the main thing I want to remember is that just doing this vocal toning, just doing this sound as a practice, you can get these benefits and maybe the outro thing is an advanced part of that work, but it all began when me sitting down and breathing and just making and exploring myself, exploring my voice, improving my relationship with my voice, with my expression, how I feel, how I'm breathing. Do I like my voice? Do I feel weird with my voice? Do I am projecting well my voice, or I feel like I'm blocked in some part of my body? So it's a way of self-exploring. And even, well, with time, you, as I said, you want to be better, get better with whatever you do. But what I want to say is that it's a practice. It's a practice that you can do, and you can get the benefits, and it's very easy, really.
Okay, very easy.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have to go meditate for an hour before you begin to do it. You're able to now just like use your instrument.
Yes, in fact, I just started like 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, and just take that time for myself. It's like a meditation, and we are not sometimes used to have the time just be sitting down, turn off the cell phone, just being there. You breathe. At first, I felt like something like, what I'm doing, what is this? This doubt. I will not improve, But it doesn't matter. Just be there, just breathe, just experiment, and be that time with you, and that's really the thing, to connect with yourself. And then the other things are like natural. It's the same with the instruments. You will find an instrument that you feel attracted to that instrument. It's maybe a drum, maybe a flute. When you hear it, when you had this feeling. So just don't try like, I want to play very good. Just connect with the instrument. Just to be like a children, just to play.
Yes.
Have the opportunity to play and to learn, and don't have this pressure, as you said at the beginning. Oh, it's a mistake, I have to do it. No, it doesn't matter. Just play, just for yourself. And naturally, you will like improve.
I can see why that would improve your relationship with yourself, because you're learning to not criticize and critique for performance expectations. You're just allowing your natural self to be fine.
Yes, and well, I discovered that there's some of us that have this blockage here because of that. We are afraid of what other things about what we say. We are afraid of what other things about if we sing good or not. So we have this fear of what other things, and in that space you can get free of that because you're with yourself. You make it. With my workshop, I share like funny sound, like things like that you can like, okay, release what this thinking about what others say, and you get this like, how do you say, like, I'm sure of what I'm doing, and I can like share now a little bit of that. So yes.
Wonderful. All right. Well, would you demonstrate? I hope the sound comes through all right here. You can keep doing that. Just keep doing that. Don't breathe. Just keep doing that. It sounds very much like the harp, with the vibration beginning to resonate in a wave pattern. That is awesome. I mean, this is like a geek moment for me. Like, I get to talk music with my friend and brother, but I really did want to just introduce you all to Chris. If you are in the Tulum area or the Riviera Maya, please connect with him. Right now he's at Holistica on Monday evenings. It's a beautiful facility and a gorgeous dome. The acoustics in their dome are amazing. But also you offer private sound journeys for people who are coming to stay, and for those of you that come to one of my future retreats down here, you know this will absolutely be part of what you get to experience. And then again, the wisdom that you pass along with that. Now, you also have a YouTube channel. What are ways that people can connect with you to follow your journey?
Well, I have my Instagram is Chris Sound Healing. I have a YouTube channel, but it's in Spanish.
Okay.
It's Terapia de Sonido y Vibración. But soon I'm going to share some videos in English. So.
Well, you can listen to the music, you know, because you've got some of your tone singing. I think last time I remember seeing one was you sitting just with your instrument of your voice, providing, I didn't hear any language, you know what I'm saying? But definitely I invite you to take a sound journey yourself, and I just honor you, Christopher, for our connection and the medicine that you were bringing here to the world today. So namaste. My friend Christopher is getting ready for his sound journey. I'm very, very excited. I'm here at Holistica in the beautiful dome. I'm sure you can hear the sound echoing just from this, so I'm very excited. Receive the beautiful gift of the sound energy. Thank you, Chris.